and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNEM TV5 News at 6.
More than 6 years after the fateful switch and more than 18 months of negotiation later, tens of thousands of Flint residents are finally seeing some form of justice for the physical, emotional, and financial toll of the water crisis. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Meg McLeod. The state has announced a historic $600 million preliminary settlement. We have total team coverage of this development, starting with TV5's David Custer, who joins us live at the Flint water plant. David?
Meg, after 18 months of negotiations, the state will create a $600 million fund from which victims can seek payments. Now, it still must be approved by a U.S. district judge who is also overseeing lawsuits against the state. Now, tonight we caught up with Flint activist Melissa Mays. You may remember her. She was very vocal during the Flint water crisis. TV5's Rachel McCrary joins us live now in Flint with more on what Melissa had to say. Rachel.
David, that's right. While attorneys on this case are calling the settlement historic and monumental, Melissa Mays, an activist and Flint resident, says she has mixed feelings about the whole thing.
Pay medical bills, like the credit cards I've had to take out for my teeth, for my health care, for my all my medications. My kids need tutors.
Flint activist and resident Melissa Mays says the Flint water crisis still haunts her family. And today she's sounding off on the recent state settlement, which would give residents impacted by the water crisis $600 million.
We're tired, you know, we need to be able to find a recovery. And so this money, as long as it's not going to take away people's benefits, we can use it to get water filtration systems for our homes, replace interior plumbing.
But dividing up the money between over 20,000 people is not going to make anyone rich. Mays says it's just a starting off point to show that what was done to Flint was an injustice. Most of the money will go towards settling claims filed on behalf of children in Flint. The settlement breaks down like this. After attorney fees and expenses, children in Flint who were exposed will get 79.5% of the money. 64% of the money will go to children under 5. Adults and property owners will get 18% of the payout, and businesses will get 5%. And finally, 2% will go to programmatic relief. Today, attorneys on the case say it's still unclear how much each person would get in the settlement.
So until we know the full breadth and the full scope of individuals who will be participating, both minors and adults, it's not going to be known specifically. What we do know is that the system is going to be fair.
Mays says it doesn't fix what has been broken, but the money could help.
Still don't know how this is going to impact us, but this is a piece, and hopefully it's a statement saying that what was done to Flint was wrong. It was done to Flint, and that hopefully cities and states all across the country and world will see that it's not okay to poison people.
Now, the Attorney General says that it could be a while before this money can be dispersed until the formal settlement is out there, which could be another 45 days. But Mays says she doesn't expect to see any money for a long time. It could take even years, she said. Reporting in Flint, Rachel McCrary, WNEM TV5.
Rachel, thank you. Now, with the whole city being hit hard by the Flint water crisis several years ago, some folks say they are feeling closure today from this settlement, but others are saying it can't replace what was already taken from them. TV5's Trevor Sahaki joins us live now in Flint with more on that. Trevor.
Thanks, David. Here in Flint, the residents I've spoken to are still processing the settlement announcement. For a city that saw its health decline in its own eyes for years, the money is hard-fought and well-deserved. Many residents still have questions, though. They wonder how much money the lawyers are going to get or what the exact payouts will be. Their distrust in government and official voices is deep-seated and long-lasting. One Flint man says the money doesn't mean anything to him. The emotional and mental toll from the crisis is something money can't fix. Gina Luster's faith in government is shattered. While she will be trying to get some of the Flint water crisis settlement money, what she lost during those tough years can never be brought back.
No amount of money can satisfy what we've lost. But I think this is setting a precedence to all other cities and states that you're going to have to be held accountable for your actions.
Luster's vision worsened, her hair fell out, and her weight fluctuated, all of which she attests to lead in the water. Her daughter Kennedy celebrated her 6th birthday on the day the water source was switched. Her baby teeth crumbled as they fell out. And she's still feeling the effects of the water today, years later.
My bones hurted then. It wasn't like a real big pain, but now it's starting to hurt a lot worse.
If there's any upside to the crisis, Luster tells me, it's that the community is more aware and involved than ever.
We're well equipped on government and science. And that was one of the good things that came out of it, even though it was such a bad disaster and still is.
That awareness extends to the settlement money. Luster and her community will be watching their government very closely. While Gina and her daughter do their dishes and bathe in their now filtered water, they still refuse to drink it. Reporting live in Flint, Trevor Sahaki, TV5 News. David, back to you.
Trevor, thank you. One little boy became the face of the water crisis. Do you remember Sincere Smith? Well, Time magazine put him on the cover of their magazine during the water crisis. Today, I sat down with him and his mom to get their reaction to the settlement.
A chatty 3-year-old had a lot to say after Time magazine made him the poster child for the Flint water crisis in 2016.
Are you proud of that magazine?
4 years later, and now 7-year-old Sincere Smith is a little shy. But he still carries around that Time magazine showing his innocent face damaged by the effects of the lead-tainted water.
He really going through trying to get his skin tone to even out, so he goes to the dermatologist.
Visible scars, reminders of why Mom Ariana moved her family out into the suburbs during the crisis, thinking it was the best thing for her family. But because she left the city, she lost the financial help she needed to take care of Sincere.
We moved out of the city and lost benefits, and then we had lost their medical care, everything that they was covered under when we were in Flint from the water crisis we had lost, so it was we had to come back.
And when she came back to Flint, Ariana tells me today she quickly realized little had changed, including her own trust for the safety of the water.
Our everyday life is still as it was in 2014, using bottled water for cooking, babies using bottled water, people with skin using bottled water. Those type of things are still happening.
I might save the money.
Oh, you gonna save it?
And while Ariana is appreciative that her family will receive a share of the $600 million settlement from the Flint water crisis lawsuit, she questions how you can put a dollar amount on human life.
There's so many people who have died. Their families can't bring them back. Money can't bring them back. My daughter's dad died from Legionnaire's disease. It's things like money can't bring those people back. I don't care how much money they gonna give us. I'll still miss him. She'll still never know her dad. People who have lost their family members, they can't get them back. It's no amount of money. That's just gonna be an okay amount.
Now, Ariana tells me because of the water crisis, she has become an activist. She goes around the country encouraging people of color to vote. So a lot has changed for this family since Sincere was on the cover of this Time magazine. Now, again, a lot of details will be coming out once this settlement is finalized and becomes official. And you can count on TV5 to stay on top of that, and we'll bring you every new detail as we learn it. For now, reporting live in Flint, outside the Flint water treatment plant, I'm David Custer. Meg, back to you.
Thank you, David. And if you have any questions or concerns about the Flint water crisis settlement, you'll find a link in the Thursday Hot Links section of WNEM.com with more information. Another beautiful and a bit breezy evening across mid-Michigan as we take a live look over Saginaw. Will these clear skies stick around for our weekend? Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman is tracking that for us. Hi, Brian.
Hi there, Meg. It's summer weather you certainly can't beat out there today. Even if it has trended warmer and slightly more humid, it's definitely not uncomfortable. And it, of course, was a day that got off to an equally nice start. Take a look at this photo posted to the TV5 Facebook page by Denise Rulison this morning, capturing the sunrise skies in the Mayville area. Some high clouds lending themselves to some of those deeper oranges there, lower to the sun, and some blue beginning to peek out between some of those clouds. We, of course, kept those generally clear conditions rolling straight on into this afternoon and evening. Here's a live look over the CMU campus where you can see a little bit of that breeze nudging our camera around, but beautiful nonetheless, of course, with plentiful sunshine. First Warn 5 Sky Tracker looking great. Just a few scattered clouds here and there, most of them in a broken band from the northern thumb back through parts of Gladwin and Midland counties. Can't rule out a stray shower meandering farther south, mainly into Alcona County and along parts of M55 later this evening. That due to a boundary we see across the UP that's producing some clouds and isolated showers, but nothing that I expect is going to create any problems for your evening plans, including if they take you out on Saginaw Bay. Looking good out there on the water tonight. Air temp around 77, plenty of sun. West-southwest wind, though, a little bit breezy at about 10 to 20 knots. I'll have more on your full weekend forecast coming up.
Thank you, Brian. The Michigan High School Athletic Association announces some sports in certain areas can start competition this fall. Which sports and which areas, as well as parent reaction, coming up. And tax assistance to those affected by the historic flooding in May. How you can request disaster-related tax relief coming up.